How to fix Social Security. Easy as pie. I've already talked about before, where all you got to do is raise the payroll tax by $35 a paycheck on each side of the equation for the average employee. That means the employee pays $35, employer pays an extra $35, $70 a month on both sides, done and done. But let's say we don't want to do that. What's another way? Well, I'm self-employed, and so all these left-leaning people who always like higher taxes on higher income providers, most of which are entrepreneurs, always say raise the cap. All right, so right now, I pay 6.2% of Social Security on the first, I think it's $135, and you do too. So if you're making $135, you pay 6.2% on Social Security. If you're self-employed, you pay 12.4% on that $135, all right? Because you're paying 6.2 on your end as the employee, and you're paying 6.2% on the employer side as well, all right? So you are being penalized by making that kind of money self-employed. And I don't want to hear, well, you get a higher benefit. If I was not self-employed and I made that kind of money, I would get the exact same benefit, all right? So the employer, be it me, my own money, or the employer, be it USAA, with their money, is paying the 6.2% to benefit me. So either way, I receive the same benefit. But if I'm self-employed, it comes out of my pocket is what it does. So at the end of the day, the cap, if it raised, like these guys want to do, just eliminate the cap. It won't solve it, not in the least. But they say, eliminate the cap, save Social Security. Well, that won't do anything. I mean, do a little bit, but not much. Not enough to, like, the problem is the left just hates successful people. There's no other way around that, unless they are the successful ones, of course. But they hate successful people, so they always want to say, they want to stick it to them, not to benefit them, but actually because they don't like the idea that other people have succeeded where they haven't. And that's ultimately what it comes down to, is jealousy. And anyway, let's just, I know the left like the back of my hand, and I know exactly what it is. You've done well because you've had unfair breaks, white privilege, you're a man, or whatever, or you're just lucky. It's not fair. Okay. But how you fix it is easy. It's just lower the third bend point. All right, so remember, Social Security has 3 bend points. This year is $926. The first $926 of your average index monthly earnings, you get 90% of that. All right, I think next year is $960 is the first bend point. But anyway, 2019, the first bend point is $926. The next bend point, I want to say it's $55.83. So the amount you make between $926 and $55.83, you get 32% of that, all right, for your benefit. All right, so the first bend point is 90%. Second bend point is 32%. The third bend point, any amount above 5583, you get 15% of that. So those are the people who have substantial earnings essentially over the course of their 35-year history, because your average index monthly earnings is how you derive that, is you take your entirety of your indexed earnings, take the top 35 years of that entirety of your indexed earnings, divide that by 420, and that gives your AIME. And thus, the folks who have more than 5583 in the third bend point, come on, buddy, come on, bud. That means they're the more wealthy of the people. So if you want to reduce the come on, Bubs. He sees a dog out here. It's okay. Look at Pablo. He's going nuts. He just wants to play. So if you want to reduce the payout to the wealthier citizens, you don't raise the cap, you reduce the bend point. So if the third bend point is 15%, reduce it by 50% to 10. Now, I have done no calculations on that, but that means the wealthier people get less of a benefit. The middle class people are not affected at all, and you don't have to raise the cap. Simple. Oh, well, I don't. So if I were Trump again, I would propose either don't raise the payroll tax, lower the bend point, because what happens is the the wealthier people still have the same 2 bend points, all right? They still get 90% of the first 926. They still get 32% of the next up to 5583. So you're not taking any benefit away from them other than the amount of money they made above their average index monthly earnings, the 5583. All right, so in that case, they only get 15% of the amount above that anyway. So you reduce it to 10, you might have to raise payroll tax a little bit. It won't be much. But then you can keep the cap as is and you are done. Surprise, again, I was listening to this guy, professor of economics, a dean of economics at University of Illinois. You talk about some fixes for Social Security, and I'm, means testing, all that. But I'm surprised no one talks about just the bend points. And I don't know why, actually. Because you lower the bend point, no one's going to notice that much. But the facts are, it will be a dramatic benefit to solvency of Social Security. So if I were Trump, and I want to solidify my status among the lower and middle class Americans, what I'm doing, this is another dog. I'm solidifying Social Security by lowering the bend point on the top 1% or whatever you want to say. And I'll raise the bend point, here comes a dog, on the folks in the middle class. I'd create a second bend point. The first bend point, you get 90%. The second 1,000, you get 50% or something like that. All right, we got to let you go because Pablo's yelling here. See ya.